Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Planet X News. This is Scott from the Nibiru channel. I'm here this Father's Day afternoon with our rogue physicist. Good afternoon, Doctor. How are you?
Good afternoon, Scott. I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Well, you know, I am doing pretty good under the circumstances, everything going on around the world. And it is Father's Day, June 18th. 2017. I'd like to wish all of the fathers out there a very, very happy Father's Day. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a look at a report that the doctor has put together. And it's a relatively short report, but it's dealing with the meteor strike that occurred down in South Africa and not too far from where the doctor lives. And this happened a few days ago. And we were just talking about asteroids, comets, and meteors the other day, and the doctor had prepared a report, and we did a live stream about it to bring everybody up to date on this threat. Well, lo and behold, a small meteor strike in South Africa. And we've been watching the live meteor scan for several days, and there has been a lot of activity. And yes, taking into consideration, we are in a meteor shower, meteor stream. But, you know, usually when you're in these annual meteor streams or biannual meteor streams, we normally don't get hit with a meteor. But taking into consideration that some of these meteors, asteroids, their orbits, like such as that of an asteroid that has been in an orbit for hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, maybe even millions of years, all of a sudden, something like the presence of a very highly magnetic brown dwarf star perturbs its orbit and sends it on a crash course directly towards Earth. And I know a lot of you are pretty up to date with what would happen if an asteroid or meteor or comet would impact the Earth. We all know that would be very, very devastating. But we have a lot of other things that we want to cover. So this is going to be somewhat of an impromptu interview with the doctor. And I did want to mention to everyone, for all of our new listeners, the doctor is going to be coming to the United States very, very shortly, hopefully sometime next week. And from that point on, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start arranging for some public speaking conferences and seminars that are going to be held by the doctor. And we're going to continue to divulge the information related to Planet X. And just the other day, we went over the whole situation with Nemesis, Nibiru, Planet X, you know, and some people were saying, oh, it sounds like you're backtracking on Nibiru. Well, you know, ladies and gentlemen, whenever you are investigating something, you want to try to start from the very beginning. And I've researched everything there is out there. Do I believe in a planet Nibiru? Well, there's a high possibility. As far as naming it, well, you know, the Sumerians, the Egyptians, I mean, this name Nibiru has been around for quite a long time. We've done plenty of research and a lot of investigative work into finding out what is really going on in our solar system and our inner solar system and dealing with our sun. And as I've mentioned before, the situation occurring with our sun and the interaction of a brown dwarf star or possibly many brown dwarf stars, well, that is what is leading to a lot of the activity on the Earth, meaning the earthquakes, the volcanoes, the crazy weather. And ladies and gentlemen, this weather is going to get much, much worse in the Northern Hemisphere as the summer comes along. And we're just, what, 2 days away from the summer solstice. We're already seeing major storms developing in the Gulf of Mexico. Just as I said 2 weeks ago, And I mentioned this in one of our live streams and one of my videos that, look, I've been studying weather for over 20 years. I'm not a meteorologist, but I probably could be. And from what I'm seeing with our jet streams in the southern hemisphere, I'm telling you, we are going to see crazy weather coming from the South Pacific all the way across over the Yucatan Peninsula and straight into the Gulf of Mexico. And once those tropical depressions move into the Gulf of Mexico, wow, we're talking about a flash bang. We're already seeing it with different types of steering currents. You know, these storms have the ability to steer right up into the northern coast of Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, the panhandle of Florida, or making their way directly across the state of Florida back out into the Atlantic Ocean. I've seen it before. These weather patterns are going to get squeezed between an upper and lower air current. I showed it today in one of my live streams. I showed everyone in motion how this persistent line of storms is coming across the South Pacific and inundating the entire Central American countries. Ladies and gentlemen, people are dying there. They are dying. As I have said before, loss of life, this is terrible. There are people out there that say, this is normal. No, it's not normal. The weather patterns that I'm seeing, well, they're not normal. Everything that I've seen over the past 30 years, nah, they're not normal. The intensification is absolutely, it's crazy. You know, and these people that live in Central America, ladies and gentlemen, they don't have the best architecture. Some of them live in small towns and villages. All of this torrential rain, listen, Guatemala's underwater. They're having problems in Honduras, El Salvador, some areas of Mexico. And now, from what I'm seeing, Colombia, the country of Colombia, and northern Peru, woo, they are right in the crosshairs of a lot of bad weather. And, you know, ladies and gentlemen, they have bad mudslides and landslides that can literally wipe out villages and towns in a heartbeat. And all of this is going to be right into the United States. And we have to worry about our Gulf Coast states, specifically Louisiana, the Big Fish Bowl, New Orleans. We all know what happened with Katrina. The possibilities of this happening once, twice, or three times during this upcoming or this hurricane season, big possibility. We were also looking at the actual ice cap, the snow cap, whatever you want to call it, in the North Pole. It's disappearing. It's disappearing. And then you have some folks out there that are spreading the information about, you know, the grand solar minimum. I call it the grand solar meme because that's basically what it is. It's a big meme. It's ridiculous. If anything, our planet is heating up. It's been heating up for the last 10 years, maybe even more than that. I haven't researched all that data. Last year, 2016, hottest year on record worldwide as an average. Bottom line is the Earth is heating up. This past winter in the Northern Hemisphere, it seemed like it didn't even cool down in most places. Northeastern states were having weather right after Christmas, 62 degrees Fahrenheit. Wow. Global cooling. Ice age. Yeah, I don't think so. Disinformation, ladies and gentlemen. Disinformation. And that's exactly what it is. There are people out there that, you know, They're placed out there by the government to just create other situations, to drag your attention off of what's really happening. I've spoken with all of you about this many, many times, but for all of the people that are new to this channel and new to this information, I'll say it again and again and again. We are living in the sign of the times. There is no doubt about that. We're going to keep on pushing and investigating and researching. And I can't wait for the doctor to get here to the United States so we can literally go from one end of this country to the other and meet all of you and have a chance to bring this information to people that aren't on YouTube, that aren't on Facebook. The doctor is going to be writing a book while she's here for the first few months. That book will be published. It will be published. It will be on sale. Paperback and downloadable through Amazon. I can't wait. I've said this before many, many times, ladies and gentlemen. I wish I had the opportunity to meet all of you because, you know, I hate to use this terminology, but in the end, that's all that we're going to have, each other. We're going to have to rely on each other in the worst case scenario. That time may come sooner than later. Hopefully, it's later. So, I do want to mention one thing. I've announced that the doctor will be coming to the United States. I've been announcing it for the last 2 weeks. Now, all of a sudden, she's getting emails. They're still going to the university email address, and that's going to be officially, well, disconnected, dissolved, terminated, probably within the next few days. The emails that she's getting is from this YouTube channel, WTF Sky Live, Jake WTF Sky. This guy, Jake, from this trolling channel on YouTube, WTF Sky, well, now he's harassing the doctor utilizing the university email address. And that was forwarded to her personal email. And this has been going on for a little bit of time. And just before that started, Jake's cohort over there, Mari, really don't want to mention any more of these people, but you know, she's sending the doctor just horrendous emails, basically trying to scare her into not coming to the United States. This just goes to show you the extent of what the powers that be, or that think they want to be, will go to stop the flow of information. It's ridiculous, but it's not going to work. It's not going to work. But anyways, doctor, whatever you received, this email, you just received one from this guy, Jake the Snake from WTF Sky. You just received another email that you forwarded to me, correct?
Yes, that's correct. I did.
What did you think of his email?
Well, I think he's trying to catch me with something, trying to identify things about me. I'm not sure, Scott, but I don't think it's the honest intentions, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, his intentions are not honest.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, because I read the email.
Basically, the email asks whether I am the person who's talking on your channel about brown dwarf stars. And I don't understand why he would even want to ask that question. Obviously, he knows Astronomy Live very well, so they both know where I work, where I have been working. So I don't understand why you would even want to ask that question.
Well, I can tell you why they want to ask that question. Jake sent me a virus in an email yesterday because he, we exchange battles back and forth with these stupid emails. And I'm not a nice guy whenever I'm referring to him in the emails. I'm not a nice guy. But yeah, he tried to send me a virus and a phishing email with a link in it, so I sent it back to him. So the possibilities that they're doing something like that to you, is a very high possibility, trying to damage your computer, trying to find out your direct location where you're at.
Yeah.
That's not going to work. And then earlier on, you received another email from this Mari from this WTF Sky, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I did. She basically said, "I hope you get fired."
Well, well, like I said in my my live stream earlier this morning, ladies and gentlemen, Astronomy Live and these other pukes, they did us a favor because they just created a massive fire, poured gasoline on it, and now we turned this negative into a positive. Yes, the doctor's not going to be lecturing anymore at the university, 17-year career gone. Okay, that's over and done with. She's going to be on her way to the United States next week. She's not impersonating herself. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. A person impersonating themselves. Well, that just goes to show you how idiotic these pukes are. And very, very soon, everybody will be able to attend a seminar and a conference and listen to the information. You'll be able to identify her voice with a face. I'll be there. The doctor will be there. And we're going to bring the information to the public. Hopefully worldwide.
Yes.
In one of their live streams they did a while back, I really don't want to repeat the dirty, filthy cuss words that they were using, referring to the doctor, but they were calling her this and calling her that, curse words, and saying that they hope that she does get fired and blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's all occurred, but now you have brought her to the United States. You, all of the troll factions, you really screwed up. You really, really screwed up because now you've lit a fire under her and myself, and we're going to take this public all the way across this country. We're going to be visiting cities in Canada, and depending on time and security levels, possibly some European cities. But things in Europe right now are just very, very unsafe. I mean, people in, England and Ireland and Scotland, from what I'm understanding, they can't even listen to our live streams anymore. They've shut down that information in their countries. Why would they do that? If this is all just make-believe, why would they do that? Why would they start censoring information all the way around the world? I don't hear from my Swiss subscribers. I don't hear from my subscribers in Belgium, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Italy, Greece, Turkey. I'm not hearing from any of these people. And these were some of my best subscribers in getting me information early on in 2016 with incredible evidence and, you know, photographic evidence and video evidence. I did have one man in Bulgaria that was sending me incredible video of what he was seeing. Shortly after, a man in Bulgaria who was head of a meteorology department for Bulgaria spent 20 years traveling up and down a mountain, an observatory. And they started to observe some things from way on top of that mountain. He was making notes. And then all of a sudden, after working up on that mountain at that observatory, that, you know, for the weather observatory, he fell off the mountain. He just fell off. Went for a walk, fell off the mountain, and they found him at the base, dead. So after 20 years of working on top of a mountain, you would probably know not to get close to the edge. He went out for a walk. He never came back. So, ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you that the threat of this information is real, you better believe it, because it is. It's very real. You know, once the doctor gets to the United States and we formulate a plan and a schedule for the public speaking, we're still going to be utilizing YouTube and also the X Factor radio. She's going to be making probably a lot of radio appearances on major radio stations. People are going to want to talk to her. And what are they going to do then? There's not going to be a comment section where you could leave your little stupid comments. So anyways, I just wanted to get that out there once again, ladies and gentlemen. But now, Doctor, going back to this meteor strike in South Africa, not too far from where you live, and it was kind of coincidental that, you know, days later after we do this report on asteroids and comets and meteors, well, lo and behold, there's a meteor strike in South Africa.
Indeed.
And when did you hear about it? Did you hear about it immediately, or was it something?
I heard about it within a couple of hours of it happening, yes.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and bring up your report.
Okay.
Everybody just give me a second and I'll share my screen. And everybody, this is just going to be a quick observation of what occurred down there in South Africa. And Doctor, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you, Scott. So what I did here is I basically analyzed all the people who observed the comet to try and picture what actually happened. So first of all, well, sorry, I said comet. It wasn't a comet. It was a meteorite that landed. Actually, it broke into pieces, and at least 2 large pieces impacted the Earth. So we start with what these objects are, and they are small objects, usually broken off from pieces of asteroids or comets, and we usually call them meteoroids. And of course, with all the brown dwarf stars that are in the solar system, for which we have plenty of observational evidence. And since they bring in so much debris and material with them, it's not surprising that we're getting meteors hitting the Earth. So on Thursday, June 15, 2017, in South Africa, this is the country where I live, one such meteorite impacted the ground in a sugar plantation in Richmond. And there on the map, you see where Richmond is. It's about the center of the country. And it was seen by the owner of the farm, a woman named Mandy Tyra. and she watched it streak through the sky and impact the ground. And she reported seeing it change color. That is, the tail change color from blue to orange and then bright red. And then she said that the tail began exploding, and it looked like several fireworks explosions were taking place. Right, so that's, and then another report from Rudaport, South Africa. Rudaport is a suburb of Johannesburg, which is the largest city in South Africa. Yeah, that's Richmond. Johannesburg is up north.
Oops, sorry about that.
It is on the map. Yeah, it's up north there. That's where I live. I live in Johannesburg. And then when he was in his car, Matthew Hope, in Rudaport, and he saw the meteor and reported it was the biggest and clearest meteorite he had ever seen. And you can see he took footage, and this is a still image from that footage. You can see the meteor there looks blue at that time. There it is. It looks quite large, actually.
So, you know, I wanted to just take a little step back real quick.
Yes.
The lady Mandy, she actually saw the meteor come in and impact.
That's right.
Wow, that's rare. That's rare.
Yeah, I know, it is rare. And she's not the only one that reported seeing that it had impacted. At the end, you will see we'll get to someone else who even heard the bang and felt the earth shaking when it impacted. So I think there were two pieces that impacted. It broke into pieces during its flight. But it comes across in what people say they had seen.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's, you know, to see a meteor streaking across the sky once in a lifetime. That's wild. That's fantastic. Yes. But to see a meteor come in, streak across the sky, and impact on your property, wow. Yeah. That's definitely a once in a lifetime. You know.
It is. You're right. And so when we see this object burning up in the atmosphere, because as they come in, they encounter a lot of friction in the atmosphere and they start burning up. And that's what causes the tail. And we call this object a meteor whilst it's still in the air. Most of them do burn up completely and there's nothing left to impact the Earth. But when they survive that burning up during their flight and manage to impact the Earth, then the object that is seen at the site of impact is called a meteorite.
Wow. Was there any reports of a sonic boom or sound or any sound from the impact?
There was, not from this one that there was another one in Bethlehem. This one in Richmond, no, she didn't say there was a bang. She just said she saw it come down. So I think what she saw was the smaller piece impacting the Earth. And there was another larger piece that impacted somewhere else.
Okay. It's a good thing it's a good thing it didn't hit in a populated area, even though it wasn't, you know, a substantially large meteor. But, you know, ladies and gentlemen, let's just face it. You know, any space rock coming, you know, from space, you know, moving at a speed of anywhere from maybe 50,000 being decreased down to 25,000 miles per hour.
That's right. Yeah, something like that.
That would do
fast.
some damage.
They come in very fast, and because the Earth shook, if it had hit a building, I'm sure it would have caused some damage.
Yeah, I probably would have devastated that building quite a bit.
Yeah. Oh yes, I think so.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move into I guess these are the statements from the people that you.
That's right. That's right. So this is how we piece together what happened by looking at what the observers actually observe, because that's what they report. So this one is again also from Rudeport, another one from Rudeport, Johannesburg. And this person, I won't bore you with the details, you want to understand about the names of places. But what's highlighted there is we saw what appears like a falling light. It was still early, very early morning, so the light was very bright. It had a tail like I have seen comets had, and the tail burned with a green light. So basically, he thought maybe it was a UFO, but he then says, might just have been a meteor burning in the atmosphere. So that goes with the other observers. And at this time, it was green because it changed colors. As you can see the next one. This one is from Pinetown, which is a town just inland from Durban, a coastal town in South Africa. So it says it went from orange to blue to green. And so you see in that picture we saw first it looked blue. Apparently it looked orange first, and then it turned blue, and then finally turned green. So this person in Rudeport saw it when it was green. And the observer from Pinetown says, so it went from orange to blue to green, heading down to Earth at the highest of speeds I've ever seen. And that goes with what you said, Scott. They travel extremely fast, much faster than any airplane. And the person says, I thought it was a plane crashing, but it disappeared before I could stop to have a better look. It was the best sight I've ever seen in connection with the few shooting stars I've seen before. And that's testimony to the fact that it was quite a large meteor. And then the next report, this observer says, I was riding to work on my motorcycle this morning. I saw a big burning object in the sky coming down with tremendous speed, faster than a plane could. I realized it was a meteorite. It seemed like it might have landed in South Africa. I haven't seen any other reports from people living in Durban. So it was obviously the only one from Durban. But he mentioned how fast it was going. And then another one from Pretoria. Pretoria is the capital city of South Africa. It's just a bit north of Johannesburg. That's right. It's there on the map. And this person reports, my instinctive reaction was that an aircraft was about to crash. However, it seemed unlikely owing to the sheer speed of it. Also, trailing behind it was showering sparks and greenish fire. So here this person sees it when it was green. So it was orange, blue, and green. So that was the third phase of whatever material, because it goes according to the material that's burning in that piece of rock. It's got different layers and so on. So obviously it burned orange first, and then it turned blue, and then it turned green.
Yeah, I was just about, to ask you about the colors. I remember reading a while back, back in 2016, when we had so many near-Earth objects that the Jet Propulsion Laboratory was reporting on, and it just seemed like every single day, every single week throughout the last 6 months of 2016. So I started reading up on these meteors and just exactly what you're saying, the different compositions of these space rocks, as I refer to them. I'm not sure if I may be incorrect here, but the sign of green burning is a sign of magnesium. I'd have to actually look up the color chart.
Yeah, I haven't actually looked at that. I probably should have, because it is interesting. Yeah, but it's definitely different materials. Some of them have different stone material, rocks. The hardest ones are made out of iron, And what happens is sometimes all the material burns, and then what's left is a piece of iron. And then the meteorite is just, that lands is just a piece of iron. Because iron doesn't burn up as easily as the other materials.
So I think this is I think this is the second documented meteor strike in a few weeks, because I reported on a meteor strike in the northern part of India out in a field, and they were able to recover almost, it was like 8.8 pounds, almost a 9-pound meteor that impacted out in a field. And, you know, they investigated it, left a little small crater, and many people saw it. And they actually rushed out to the field area. And then I believe, I think it was the local police kind of cordoned off the area, didn't let anybody back in there. And then some officials came in, confiscated the actual meteorite, and but never heard anything more about the composition. I haven't heard anything more about a report. So that was a few weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. And then now we have this meteor strike in South Africa.
That's right.
So we may, we may be expecting some more of these meteor strikes. I mean, I know I've been monitoring the meteor scan, and there are points in time because of this meteor shower that we're in, very heavy activity, very heavy activity. Then it kind of dies off a little bit, and then it picks back up. So, you know, ladies and gentlemen, we may be looking at seeing a lot more meteors, and possibly a few more strikes. I hope not, but
yes.
The fact of the matter is, the potential for these meteor strikes, well, it's here. It's almost reminiscent of last year. Around this same time is when this all really started, was around June, July, August, September, October. Very interesting. Very interesting. It seems that there's a direct correlation with the meteors in 2016 and this year, and the heavy activity. So this, do you know what the actual trajectory was where this came in? So, because it seems like so many people saw it from so many areas.
I think it was seen first from Richmond, I think, and then Johannesburg. So I'm not actually sure where, but it seems, well, you see, it comes in at an angle from outer space. But if we track who saw it first, well, the people in Johannesburg saw it second. When it was green, that was in Richmond, which was the Cape. So that would mean that it came from the west. I think it came from the west.
And then possibly north?
Yeah, so it would have come in northwest. I mean, towards the northeast then, from the southwest. I would say so, yes.
Yeah, I haven't looked, I tried to look the information up, but at first I couldn't find it.
Because people they don't tell you which direction they're looking in. And if you see an object high up in the sky, then, you know, it's quite easy to see it coming from different directions, depending which direction the person is facing in. So because we don't have that information, it's not easy to figure that out. But I would say it came from the southwest, and it headed, so say, from Cape Town towards Johannesburg. I would say so.
Okay.
And it broke up somewhere in the middle, you see. And then you had two separate pieces, and they landed in different places.
Okay, because
And they would have,
I see that this the town of Durban is on the coast,
yes.
and Johannesburg is kind of north central
Yeah.
part of the country.
Yeah, but you see, both pieces landed between, the first piece landed in Richmond, and that's just below where the word is South Africa. Yeah, there. So the first piece landed there. So that was the smallest piece. The largest piece went a bit further along that line towards Johannesburg and landed in, where was that now? Bethlehem. Somewhere like that. So that's close to where you see Bloemfontein.
Oh, here, okay.
So that would be close to there. So they landed somewhere in between. And yeah, so it's hard to actually say which direction it came in.
Yeah, especially when it's in pieces. When it's in pieces,
yeah.
One piece can go one direction, one piece can go another direction, and yeah,
That's right.
That would be very, very hard to judge. Okay, now here's the reports from that Bethlehem, South Africa area.
So that's starting with the Bethlehem report. So this person says it was very bright. It was pre-dawn and still dark. It was so bright, it lit up our bedroom. The curtains facing. Yeah, that's where Bethlehem is. That's right.
Doctor, I'm really starting to think now. Do you think that there might have been a possibility of more than one meteor because of the differences in the sightings, or do you think that it was one meteor that broke up?
I think it was. I mean, there's always a possibility that there was more than one. But the reports were similar. You could piece them together. It was orange first, and then blue, and then green. But you don't know which pieces people are seeing. So, but some people saw it breaking up into pieces. So that's why I thought it was one that broke up into several pieces.
Now here's the part of the report right here where it says there was really something and it hit the earth. There were first bright lights, and a minute after I saw it, there was a huge bang, like something fell and the earth was shaking. Whew.
That's right. So this is the big piece that landed there in Bethlehem. I mean, or close to Bethlehem. This is where the report is. The person didn't actually see it when it impacted the ground, but they reported hearing a huge bang. So they could not have been very far away. And they felt the earth shaking. So
wow.
that, I mean,
that's intense. That's intense.
So yeah, that was a big piece that landed. That must have been a big meteorite, because you don't get that kind of effect of shaking and hearing a bang unless it's quite a large meteorite that lands. So yeah, and the report from the person before this is also quite interesting. Just if you scroll down a little, up a little. This is from Durban, and this man is a trained Air Force survival instructor. And so his report is always more powerful than just normal people. He says, long red orange tail, pieces breaking off with small flaming tails. So he saw it breaking off when it was orange. And remember, that's the color of the tail at first was orange. So right at the beginning, it broke into pieces. And then one of the pieces that the people saw it turn blue, and that was already, it had broken up already. So the people in Johannesburg that saw the blue piece, it was already a piece of the meteor that entered the atmosphere.
Interesting. Very interesting. Whenever situations like this occur in South Africa, who usually comes out to recover these types of objects? I mean, is this the first time you've ever heard of a meteor strike in South Africa? I mean, the whole entire time you've been there?
No, I mean, we have meteor strikes quite often. I think there was one last year as well, but it wasn't as dramatic or as large as this one. Because from these observers' accounts, I would say this was a large meteor, especially because of the huge bang and the earth shaking report. And that was only a piece. Remember, it broke into pieces. Probably most of the pieces burned up in the atmosphere, the smallish pieces, and then 2 pieces were large enough not to burn up completely, and therefore they impacted the earth. So I would say this was quite a...
Who usually comes out and picks these objects up? The government?
I doubt that anybody in the government does that. It probably be some scientists from local universities. Yeah, I think that's what it will be. And I mean, the lady that saw it landing in her sugar plantation, she said, well, I couldn't actually go out there because the sugar cane was already too high and she couldn't walk through it. So I don't think that one would be recovered until the sugar cane is harvested.
Interesting. So now we will probably not know what the exact composition of that meteor strike was.
Yes. But the larger piece may have been recovered. I haven't heard any reports of that, though.
Yeah, and I find that kind of odd, too. I noticed that last year when we had a few small meteor strikes. You hear about the initial strike, but you don't hear about, okay, let's delve into the composition of this this space rock that just hit our Earth.
That's right. It should be interesting.
I'd like to hear about it. I'd like to know what the composition was.
Yeah.
And then we never hear anything about it. Nothing.
Yeah, it is a pity. And I just wanted to say, as you stated, I think we can expect more of these events because don't forget there's a lot of debris in the solar system now. And that's why the near-Earth objects, the number of near-Earth objects has been increasing. So the brown dwarf stars seem to bring in a lot of debris. And so we can expect a lot of smallish objects like these. Well, this one was quite large for a meteor, to come in and impact our planet. And yeah, so I think we can expect much more of this.
Yeah, I think so. I definitely think so. I think as we move through the summertime months, I think we're going to be seeing more and more of the meteor situation, and I think we may see more impacts. And hopefully there'll be small events, that are they're very interesting. They're very interesting till one of these space rocks hits a heavily populated area, like we saw in 2013 in Chelyabinsk, Russia. Even though the meteor exploded over the Earth at about, 15 miles over the Earth, possibilities of that being destroyed by man and not by the natural occurrence of it burning up in the atmosphere. Even though that landed in an uninhabited area, the sonic boom explosion, the sound waves shattered windows for miles and miles and did a lot of devastation. And I think over 1,000 people were injured by flying glass. We've all seen the videos from Russia. Everybody caught that meteor coming in, exploding, and the sound was deafening, even in the videos. And I mean, I remember seeing one part of a video where these men were in a very, very large building with a massive, massive garage door that was probably 40 or 50 feet high, like a warehouse type building. And it blew the entire garage door in on them.
Sure.
And there were surveillance cameras inside of the building and on the outside of the building. And it just showed the percussion just collapsed the whole entire metal garage door, crashed it right in. And then the video surveillance from inside of the building was even more amazing because, you know, there was nothing to see. You can't see sound. And that percussion just blew that big, massive garage door right in on those people. And then the people that were the kids that were in the schools and the people that were in their office buildings and the flying glass and the massive explosion. And it just wasn't one. That sonic boom was rippling. And, you know, I mean, a lot of people don't understand how sound waves can be so destructive. They can be very, very destructive in these types of circumstances. So you don't necessarily have to have a space rock impact the ground, create a crater in an explosion to create damage. Sound waves and percussion alone can kill a human being instantly. And just, you know, by the grace of God, thank God that this wasn't a situation like what occurred in Russia in 2013. Now, no one was killed, but again, I think the level of people that were injured was well over 1,000 and almost 1,500 buildings damaged. So that's pretty, you know, that's pretty devastating for an event like that with a meteor. And if we start seeing that on a regular basis, wow. I mean, that's going to be, that's going to be making news around the world, because how are you not going to be able to report that? Amazing. So what do you have here in conclusion? What do you have right down here in conclusion, Doctor?
Well, I just say, so it seems that a large meteor came in over South Africa. It exploded into at least 2 pieces that were large enough to survive the flight until impact. The larger piece landed in Bethlehem. It caused a bang to be heard and the earth to shake. The smaller piece landed in Richmond in a sugarcane plantation. This must have been quite a large meteor. That's my conclusion.
Yeah, I mean, the whole earth shaking, the initial reports that I read, I didn't have a chance to see that type of information on the people that were actually feeling that. What I wanted to do real quick, and if you just bear with me, let's see if we could pick something up on YouTube. Let me just see. I'm just running through YouTube real quick, and I'm going to see if I could find a short video. Maybe there was one out there. I'm just looking it up on YouTube real quick to see if there was a video.
That still picture that I showed you, there was a YouTube video attached to it from the.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah, you found it. Good.
Yeah, let's take a look at this real quick and let's see what we have here. Now, you yourself, you didn't hear anything or see anything yourself.
No, I didn't. I heard about it. Actually, it was Chris who told me, oh, there was a meteor right where you are. And then I went and I started looking it up, and I saw lots of reports coming in.
Okay, I do have the video up here, and this was from an individual. So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen
Mm-hmm.
and see what this guy got.
Yes.
I'm just going to turn the volume down because I think he played some music. Let's see what we got here.
Okay.
So he's driving along.
Yeah. There.
Oh, there it was.
There it is. It's
Oh,
low,
my.
but there it was. Yeah. There. It was big there.
Oh, look at everybody putting their brakes on.
Yeah.
Wow. They're like, what the hell was that that just went across the sky?
You see, it looks pale blue. Yeah, that's a good one. Yes.
Yeah, you could see it. It's kind of mixed in with the street lights and the stop signal. But it's right there. Here, we'll blow it up real quick for everybody to see. Real quick. Yeah, there it is.
Yes. There we are.
Let's back that up a little bit. Let's back that up just a little bit and take a quick look at it.
There.
Even from that distance, it looks pretty big. It almost looks like you can see it breaking up in the tail. Here it comes. Wow. Look, you do see it breaking up.
Yes.
You see all these people that are slamming their brakes on.
Yeah.
They're like, what the hell is that?
What was that?
See if I could get to the point where, see, right there, it looks like it is breaking up.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Let's see if we can take another little look at that. One more frame. Yeah, it looks to be breaking up. Yeah, they are definitely right in their observations. Yeah, there you go. There's a good shot. There we are.
Yes, you can see 2 extra pieces behind. Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. Everybody's slamming their brakes on. As soon as they see that thing streak across the sky, everybody's brake checking each other.
Yes.
Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Yeah, as it goes to pass behind this tree, it looks like it starts to break up even further. Very interesting.
Yes, very interesting.
Give it one more look for everybody.
We don't know what direction this is facing. But yeah.
Wow, that's in slow motion, and look how fast it's moved. Wow, look at that.
It's amazing how fast these things can move.
Yeah. Oh, that was a good video. No, let me get out of that YouTube thing before the next video starts playing.
Okay.
Very interesting. Very, very, very interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting to look at these meteors. I actually had never seen images like this. I mean, I've looked at. I once did a little course, a little project for my students about asteroid impacts. They had a lot of fun. They were given sandboxes and rocks, and they had to experiment to see how the crater forms and the size of the crater. And yeah, it was very interesting. And the students really enjoyed that project.
Well, I think we're probably going to see more of this. There's no doubt about it.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to see more.
I'm sure we are. But at that time, none of this was happening. This was quite a few years ago. Nowadays, this is becoming more and more common.
Yeah, I think it's going to become more and more common. Like I said, as we move, further through the year of 2017 here. Yeah, we're almost at the point right now where every single day on this planet, there's something to report on. There is an event. I mean, I'm just not talking about some minor earthquakes and, a few volcanoes going off. And we did this past week see a couple of eruptions from some volcanoes that were pretty devastating. The one Russian volcano spewed volcanic ash 40,000 feet into the air.
Wow.
And then we have, other volcanoes around the world that are in full eruption mode. I believe the number is well over 30 volcanoes right now in full eruption mode. They're still monitoring the one large volcano that basically surrounds Naples, Italy. And then, yes, ladies and gentlemen, all of the activity that is occurring out at Yellowstone. And that's something that we have to pay very, very close attention to. Some people think Yellowstone's this fable. Oh, it will never happen in my lifetime. Listen, don't bet on that. Don't bet on that. I was looking at a lot of the data at Yellowstone yesterday and late last night. And then in the middle of the night, I got up because I wanted to check on it again. Excuse me. And it's being reported by a whole host of people. And I know over the past few months, they were trying to hide a little bit of the data. They were trying to hide kind of what was happening up there. And now, the earthquake frequency has picked up and the magnitude of the earthquakes has picked up. And, ladies and gentlemen, years ago, scientists found another huge magma chamber under the original magma chamber that they found under Yellowstone. The new magma chamber that they found is 4 times the size. 4. The devastation, if anything happens at Yellowstone, the devastation will be intense. There's no doubt about it. And we cannot discount what is occurring there. And I think they're getting to the point now where they know they can't really cover it up. They might be able to skew the data a little bit, but they're not going to be able to hide it. I was listening to a report by Dutch Sense last night, and Dutch, once again, I love this guy. I think he should be the earthquake czar for the entire world. Yes. Because his earthquake forecasting is just, bar none, the best on this planet. I think he ought to be in charge of the global earthquake network.
Yes.
But he was talking about how some other countries, the USGS is not reporting some earthquakes, or a lot of earthquakes in China and Russia and some other countries. And, from what I'm understanding, these earthquakes were considerable, something that should be put into the data, and they're not doing it.
Yes.
And then, the instantaneous downgrading of the earthquake. Oh, let's keep it under a magnitude 7, even though some of the seismographs are showing the earthquake was a 7.3, 7.2, 7.1. And then after it's all said and done, oh, it was only a magnitude 6.9.
Just 0.1 away from 7.
Exactly.
Yeah, Scott, these earthquakes and these volcanic eruptions, I think they go together with what is happening with the magnetosphere. I know you reported on that. But if you watch the magnetosphere, you can see it's definitely under pressure. I think it's being pushed from the back, that is from the night side of the Earth. That's now we now seeing those red lines, which are the closed lines, because the magnetosphere is usually pushed away from Earth by the solar wind, but now the solar wind is not pushing it as much because there's pressure from the backside. And so the magnetosphere is under pressure, and that and it comes up, and the evidence comes up in terms of earthquakes and volcanic eruptions as well. And that's why we're seeing so many volcanic eruptions. Clear area of the Earth is warming up. Why would it do that? Because there's an object near the Earth that has a strong magnetic field and is affecting the interior of the Earth and causing it to heat up. And then we get these volcanic eruptions. The volcanic eruptions, in a way, if they're not close to, they don't impact large cities, are better than earthquakes, because it means there's a pressure. It's like a pressure release. If that pressure release doesn't happen, we're going to get extremely large earthquakes that are extremely destructive. I just wanted to tell you that.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, I agree with you 100%. I was actually going back and pulling up and seeing if they didn't erase the data from the magnetosphere going crazy the other day. I'm just seeing, I'm checking right now to see if they erased the data. Even if they did, I saved it.
Good.
I'm just looking at it right now to see if they changed it. Oh my goodness. You're not going to believe this.
What? What's happening?
They did.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. I'm going to show you right here.
Oh my.
I'll share my screen with everybody. Wow.
Well, you did predict that, didn't you, Scott?
Wow, these dirty scum.
Oh, yes.
Hold on, everybody. Here, you know, this is proof in the pudding right here. Let me go ahead and share my screen with all of you real quick. There you go. This goes back through the 15th. This is when we saw the crazy, remember?
Yes.
The bow shock was all completely red.
Yes.
Everything was a complete knot.
Now it looks so peaceful.
Yeah, it's somewhat normal.
You're still seeing some closed magnetic field lines going back, but yeah, it doesn't look too bad.
Wow, they stripped this damn information out of here.
Well, they can do whatever. They can turn it into a cartoon if they want to, I suppose.
Yeah, basically that's what they do. Now here's a little bit more intensification, but
just a little. Wow.
I cannot believe this is the second time in the last couple of months that they've done this.
Yes.
Oh, look at that. They made it look completely normal. Well, it's not too bad, but, well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what we're going to do. Oh, let me see here.
You have the video.
I have the evidence. There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, my.
There you go.
Oh, look at it.
There you go. What does that look like? That looks like somebody falsified the information.
Indeed. What we see there is huge amounts of particles coming into the magnetosphere. And then we see the magnetic field reconnections. The magnetic field lines go very chaotic. So I would say this should have led to a geomagnetic storm. I don't know if one was reported, but I see so many particles that would head back towards the Earth. And then they would go to the poles, fill the aurora ovals, and we should have got aurora.
Here, let's just take a look. You know, here's their information that they've now deleted and put in their own little color cartoon. And
Yes.
I caught it live. Oh, what a difference.
Oh, yes, indeed. My, oh my.
So this is at, well, let's see if we can match this up. This is at 7:09:29.
Mm.
And this is, let me see if I can get to. Well, the data doesn't even go back that far.
They probably erased the data completely. That's probably what happened. They removed those frames.
I'm going to go to the 7 o'clock mark.
Well, let's see. Maybe they didn't erase it.
Oh, I think they did.
You're probably right.
Let's just see if they did. It's loading. Oh, they did.
They did. Oh, did you see that? That
Yes.
meant they erased it.
There's their little mark, ladies and gentlemen. Watch. Let me see if I could stop it right where. Ah, there you go, baby.
Timestamp unavailable.
Well, guess what? Here's your timestamp. Boom.
There we are, indeed.
Yeah. Wow. Huh.
Yes. That's...
Well, ladies and gentlemen, for all of you that think that they don't do this, and they do this, here's your proof right
That's
here.
right.
Yeah.
This is the honesty in science. You know, Scott, and this is why I want to do what I want to do, because I am very annoyed, not so much saddened maybe, by what has happened to physics, to space science, to astronomy, that it has become so dishonest that people will not do honest scientific studies anymore. Everything is corrupted, like we see here. And I believe in telling people the truth, in finding out the truth, and in finding out what's happening in the solar system. And doing this kind of thing is so dishonest to me. It's almost unbelievable.
Yeah, I agree. This I mean, we've caught them doing this. We've caught them doing this before. Yeah. No doubt about it.
It's very sad, because physics, as far as I've always thought of physics as the search for truth about the universe, and it has become anything but the search for truth. At least
it's become a big cover-up.
That's right.
That's what it is. I mean, the last time this occurred, BP Earthwatch, he recorded the information, he caught it, and then they erased 4 hours or something like that of the imaging. And then a good friend of mine over in the UK, Pete, he does a lot of investigations on Planet X. Fantastic guy. I love Pete. Pete was able to capture all of it. And they erased all of the information, and they put in the cartoon. That's what we're going to start calling it, everybody. We're going to start calling it the NASA cartoon.
That's right.
Because we see them doing this all the time. And listen, guys, why in the hell would they do that? Is it that bad that they don't want the world population knowing what just occurred? Ooh, that makes me mad. That really does. That fires me up. And this is my point. This is my point why we are going to move away from YouTube as being our main platform of getting this information out. And as I've said, we're going to take it to the street. We are going to take it to the street. I don't care if we have to stand out in a public park with an amplifier that runs on batteries and a microphone, because people will gather and start to listen to you.
Mm-hmm.
You never know, Doc. We might end up in jail a couple of times, like protesters.
I hope not, Scott.
We might get maced and beaten by the police.
Yes, well, if they put us in prison, then we can tell the people in prison what's going on.
Yeah, then what? Cause a prison riot. I mean, they already label us fearmongers and liars and cheats and all this other stuff, murderer, child molester. I mean, my God, the doctor's impersonating herself. I mean, God almighty. Okay, come on. Let's get real. But listen, we're going to go ahead and wrap everything up, ladies and gentlemen. And I wanted to thank all of you for taking your time on Father's Day, June 18th, 2017, to stop in here at the Nibiru channel and listen to what me and the doctor have to say. I feel that everything that we do say and all of the information that we do bring to you is important. And we do ask that videos on your Facebook page and your Twitter. And you never know, when you share these videos, someone may see you sharing them continuously. And then they may say, hey, Bob, what's up with those videos? What's this Planet X stuff? What's going on? And that will allow you the opportunity to speak. And whenever you speak, you're going to be speaking to an ear that's listening. And that may give you the opportunity to awaken one person. And if you awaken one person and that person awakens one more person, well, we all know about the domino effect. And that's what we're trying to generate. Whether you want to call it public awareness, worldwide awareness, that's what it is. And there's always going to be the big disinformation campaigns. And ladies and gentlemen, don't fool yourself. The governments are involved in the cover-ups and the disinformation campaigns. These little troll groups that you see on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, they don't work for themselves. They don't work for themselves. Do you think that they would be sitting at home in their little garbage-filled apartments for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, doing this? Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if a lot of you are familiar with Pastor Paul Begley, but last year he was visited twice, contacted twice by an NSA agent. He sat down with him at a diner and he spoke with Pastor Paul about what he was reporting. He asked him, where are you getting this information? Pastor Paul said the Bible. Well, apparently that NSA agent didn't like Pastor Paul's response. The fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, nobody, no keyboard warrior, coward, is going to sit day after day, week after week, month after month behind their sloppy little keyboard in their urine-filled diaper and troll YouTube channels that are reporting on Planet X or Nibiru or Wormwood. If they weren't being paid, how do these people pay their bills? None of them work because they're up my rear end like a suppository 24/7. Bottom line is, just look at the data. Look at what's going on around you. Listen to what we have to say. Pay attention to the videos that we put out. And you'll see for yourself, and I'm sure all of you are awake. It's like you just slugged down a Red Bull and your eyes are wide open. But we're going to be coming back each and every day with more and more observations, research, and investigations. You could take that to the bank. Absolutely. Before we end, I do want to thank a lot of people over this past week that have sent in a lot of donations and contributions for the doctor's legal fund, her legal representation for the lawsuit that will be filed against the YouTube channel creator, Astronomy Live. He is the individual who started and sent the email to the chancellor of the university, which basically caused a whole entire defamation campaign against the doctor with the university. We've already been in contact with a law firm in the Tampa, Florida area that will be filing the lawsuit. However, there's a retainer that needs to be paid before this endeavor can start. And, we're kind of far off on that retainer. But I just want to thank a lot of the people this past week that stepped up to the plate. They sent in some donations. There was one man from Germany. I don't want to mention his name, but I do have to say this man stepped up, and he's a retired professor himself. He wrote me a very, very nice, well, I don't want to call it a letter, but whenever you make your contribution through the PayPal link in the description box, you do have the ability to write a small note with your donation and where it's coming from. And he said, myself as a scientist and a professor for 30 years, I applaud what the doctor is doing. I understand the professional suicide that can take place when you divulge this type of information. And he forwarded $500 towards this legal fund. And, ladies and gentlemen, this isn't about money either. It's not about money, suing an individual who completely defamed you, cost you your job. It's the principle. Because everything that Astronomy Live put in that email to the chancellor of the university where the doctor worked was a lie. All of it. Because she was disclosing the SDO solar eclipse crap that they all want you to believe. And now, through legal matters, he's going to get what's coming to him. It's just a point. So, we do have to continue, trying to acquire the funds to pay the law firm for their work. This isn't like a slip and fall accident where, the ambulance chaser lawyers say, oh, okay, you slipped on some pickle juice in Walmart. Oh, yeah, we'll take it on a contingency basis and we'll sue Walmart and we'll just take half your money. Well, that's a little bit different when you're talking about defamation and other types of cases, similar to what we're getting into here. I got to watch what I'm saying because I was told by the law firm not to talk about a lot of this. But the fact of the matter is, they put all of this in motion, not the doctor. She was doing all of her research and her investigations on her own time. They just took it upon themselves to shut her up. But they did the opposite. They did the opposite. They paved the way for her now to come to the United States next week and begin public speaking. What are you going to do now? And we would hope, ladies and gentlemen, that whenever we come to a city near you, we hope we see you. We hope we have the opportunity to meet you. And once again, the doctor is going to be working on her first book related to the beginning of her observations, the beginning of her research, and the beginning of her investigations. The power of the pen, as they say. It's going to be very, very interesting. And I'm going to love the opportunity to bring this to larger populations other than what is on YouTube. So once again, for all of you that stepped up to the plate this past week with your contributions and your donations, listen, I applaud you. I thank you very, very much from the bottom of my heart. And we are still several $1,000s away from the retainer fee. We'll get there. We'll get there. No big rush. But the doctor is going to be here in the States. That song, Coming to America. And that's exactly what she's doing. Doctor, any last words?
Well, thank you so much, Scott. You know, you've just been so wonderful. And I thank the people who are donating. And I'd like to end the way I usually end, and that is, I'd like people to know the truth. That is my mission. I want to find out what's going on. I want people to learn about what's going on. And I know that the times will not be easy. So I'd like to say that you don't have to face these times on your own. That we have a creator who is there for you. And it's time to get to know him.
I agree. I agree 100%. You know, just before I decided to take my research and my investigations a step further into YouTube, I made that piece because I knew it was going to be a very rocky road, and I knew it was going to be very, very hard on me. I didn't realize that my family was going to be attacked. I didn't realize that my children were going to be attacked. But it happened. It's over and done with, and I don't regret it. But before I started all of this on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, I made my peace with God. I don't have to say a prayer every day. I don't have to get down on my knees. I don't have to thump a Bible. My Creator knows exactly how I feel. That much is true. And each and every one of us, we have our own internal faith. And at one point in time, that's going to be all that we have left, is that faith. And one last thing. Whenever that day comes that I meet my Creator, I'm going to ask for the opportunity to stand at the gates of hell while these horrible, horrible trolls roll into the gates of hell, so I can kick them in the ass straight down to the depths of the devil's path. I'll ask that because I want to be the one that puts my foot right in their ass for what they've done. Like I've said before, time and time again, I'm not a pushover. I stand up and I will fight with anyone if you threaten my existence. And that's exactly what these individuals have done to me and many others and the doctor. And with that said, I'd like to thank everybody once again. We will be back tomorrow, Monday, June 19th. We'll have another report, more commentary, and expect this from us on a daily basis. And when the doctor does get here to the United States, we are going to be on YouTube together much, much more. And you can count on that. So everybody have a fantastic Father's Day. Enjoy the so-called sunshine outside if you have it today. And we'll be back with you all tomorrow. This is Scott and the Rogue Physicist from Planet X News and the Nibiru channel. Thank you for watching.